When the woman went out to fetch water, she caught her boyfriend holding hands with another woman. Furious, she threw him into a trash can and even pushed him into the river. After that, she left the city and started working as a massage therapist. On her very first assignment, she expected to massage a female client, just as she had been told. Instead, the customer was a man. Feeling uncomfortable, she turned to leave, but the wealthy president stopped her and pulled her back onto the bed. The next morning, she hurried away. Before she could leave, the president's assistant stopped her and handed her a check, warning her not to have any improper thoughts about the president. Only then did she realize they had mistaken her for a special escort. Angrily, she tore up the check. "Do you really think money can buy everything? I'm not that kind of woman." She treated that night as nothing more than an accident, but 9 months later, she discovered she was pregnant. Having lost her parents as a child, she desperately wanted to keep the baby. However, raising a child required money, and every penny of her salary had been sent to her aunt to pay for her grandmother's medical treatment. Left with no choice, she called her aunt and asked for 3,000 yuan. Instead, her rude cousin answered the phone, insulted her, and refused to send any money. With nowhere else to turn, she decided to return to her hometown and give birth there. Just as she was about to submit her resignation, she unexpectedly ran into the president again. The moment he saw her noticeably pregnant belly, he suspected the child might be his. He stopped her immediately. "How many months? What do you mean? Then let me ask directly. The baby you're carrying is mine, isn't it?" Terrified, she denied it. She remembered seeing another woman months earlier claim she was carrying the president's child. Instead of believing her, he had treated her like a fraud and had her thrown out, causing her to lose the baby. Afraid the same thing would happen to her, she lied that she was already 6 months pregnant and that the child had nothing to do with him. Furious, the president accused her of taking his money to raise another man's child. She angrily replied that she had never accepted his money. Even if she married someone else and had children, it was none of his business. Believing she was simply too proud to admit the truth, the president ordered her to leave. As she walked away, neither of them noticed that her pregnancy report had fallen onto the floor. Soon afterward, the president's mother arrived. When she learned that a woman might be carrying the Bao family's only heir, she was overjoyed. Since the Bao family had only one son, this child was a blessing from heaven. But the president coldly replied that the woman had already left and that she was not his future wife. His mother became furious, insisting that the family could not lose its only descendant. The president, however, blamed his mother for constantly arranging women for him and claimed she was responsible for the entire misunderstanding. His mother looked confused. She hadn't arranged anyone recently. The assistant quickly brought out the woman's photo. After seeing it, the president's mother immediately realized that her son had mistaken the wrong woman. The woman he had spent the night with was actually the massage therapist. The president finally realized he had misunderstood her. Even then, he still believed she had taken his money and gone looking for another man. The assistant immediately corrected him. He explained that the woman had torn up the check and never accepted a single cent. He had also investigated her background and confirmed that she was unmarried. Then he produced her medical records. They clearly showed she was already 8 months pregnant, matching the timeline of the night they spent together. The president froze. "So, she's unmarried. And she's carrying my twins." Realizing the truth, he immediately ordered his assistant to find her. Meanwhile, the woman returned to her hometown. To her surprise, her grandmother was nowhere to be found. Her aunt casually claimed that grandma had gone to a temple with relatives and would return in a few days. Although suspicious, the woman entered her grandmother's room. She noticed her grandmother's mobile phone had been left behind. At first, she assumed it had simply been forgotten. But after turning it on, she discovered countless unanswered messages her grandmother had sent over the months. She finally learned the horrifying truth. Every month, the salary she had been sending for her grandmother's medical care had been stolen by her aunt. Not only had her aunt never bought any medicine, she had even removed the SIM card from grandma's phone after the messages were sent, preventing any further contact. Just then, a gust of wind blew a white cloth off a nearby table. Underneath was her grandmother's death certificate. In that instant, she realized her beloved grandmother had already died after enduring prolonged abuse at her aunt's hands. Overcome with grief, she broke down crying. Hearing the noise, her aunt entered the room. Seeing that the truth had been exposed, she stopped pretending. Determined to seek justice, the woman immediately reached for her phone to call the police. Her aunt rushed to stop her. During the struggle, she shoved the pregnant woman to the ground. The fall caused her water to break, and she went into labor. Instead of taking her to the hospital, her aunt cruelly decided to leave her there to die, believing that if both mother and baby died, no one would ever discover the murder of the grandmother. At that very moment, the president finally tracked her down and arrived at the village. Hearing someone knocking at the door, the cousin covered the woman's mouth while the aunt went outside to face the president. She lied and claimed the woman had never lived there. Just as the president was about to leave, the woman bit her cousin's hand and screamed for help. The president immediately heard her desperate cry. The aunt shouted, "If you come inside, I'll sue you for trespassing." The president ignored the threat. "Move aside,"